Good morning. Welcome to the Build in Digital micro conference. My name is Joe Brune. I'm the Managing Director of Build in Digital, and I am today's host. Today, we've got a really exciting session planned, looking at transforming construction, the power of visualization software for enhanced project success. This session will explore how advanced visualization tools are transforming the construction industry by enhancing design processes and project management. Our speakers today will explore the latest trends in 3D modeling, augmented reality, virtual reality applications, showcasing how these technologies improve collaboration, stakeholder engagement, and decision making. We will discover how embracing these innovative tools can elevate your projects and drive efficiency in the digital construction landscape. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker today, which is Benjamin O'Connor. Benjamin is the visualization lead for property and buildings at WSP. Benjamin, you're free to share your screen.
I'm here today to speak to obviously the power of visualization software for enhanced project success, but also in particular the use of data that's generated in the design process and how we use a modeled based visualization approach along these projects. So to introduce myself first, my name is Ben O'Connor. I lead a team called the VIA team, and I'm head of visualization for WSP in the UK and Ireland. Our VIA team sits within our wider digital services offering, which promote the use of BIM and in particular information management and data strategy on buildings projects. Speak more about our part of that team. We're a UK-based team. We sit inside the digital service team, as I said. We've got a range of backgrounds. My personal background started in graphic design, through to interior design, where I kind of was introduced to the built environment. But I was really bad at drawing, so I got into CG production, and that later manifested as a job with WSP, where I've been ever since. I've been there for 12 years. And more recently, we on my personal journey, I've been looking at software development and real-time applications and how that can augment WSP's project offerings. Um, in terms of what we offer, we offer standard visualization, so linear media, which can be described images, animations, that kind of stuff for telling stories. Immersion, so spatial computing, such as VR and augmented reality, but also applications that are inherently interactive and 3D, but also delivered via either desktop solutions or sometimes on the web as well. We work on all sorts of projects. We actually work not just with buildings, but also transport and infrastructure, environmental projects, things like that. In terms of buildings, we work on everything from super talls to temporary lighting installations to citywide explorations to interactive architecture in apartments, across the full length of the project. But today I want to focus on what we called model-based visualization. We used basically the model, and we use visualization as almost a front end to a project, to enhance a customer's experience, and it promotes like exploration rather than just a static delivery as such. It's something that is used maybe not just once for a particular thing, but we use the model and the data produced from the model to wider uses to a variety of people. We find it's more immersive, and more experiential, and it's kind of moving towards maybe a visual digital twin approach. The technology that has allowed us to kind of move into this is Unreal Engine and Unity. We kind of go between the two, depending on what the use cases are. Our approach to data and why we kind of use this is kind of lent from a culinary concept called Milk Tail, where you use every part of, say, the project data body to explain different things because visualization isn't just images. We kind of believe in a more functional use of visualization to create the value for our clients. Um, and why we use this is kind of to inform decision making, gain more insight, um, and that's for the ends of maybe program surety, cost savings, even basically giving as much info to the client and the design team as possible, where they can like investigate pain points, um, bring lots of disparate data together. So not just maybe say in terms of a building project, it might be part of a master plan, it might be part of a wider city where we can bring in GIS data, also location intelligence kind of data, and then from that model, tailor it to the use case or customize to the client kind of experience, depending on where it is. Moving on, so what this kind of looks like in, say, a project context, and I'll just kind of walk through this kind of data map. So it begins obviously with design data being created by design teams, and from there we kind of cleanse it before taking it into a kind of sandbox environment, which is the kind of the game engine environment where we develop tools, integrate the data, link it to different things, and then from there we represent the data, I suppose is what you call it. Is this is kind of the output of all our work previously. This can be as simple as images or linear media, but also spatial applications, VR, desktop applications, web applications, or streamed over the web using technologies such as Epic Games' pixel streaming. Um, but from there, and this is kind of where it's more interesting, is we are able to analyze how people are interacting with the application. Um, to gain to gain more insight. Maybe this is use in sales and marketing. Say if we have like an apartment configurator, you can gain insight as to people's tastes, or what they're interested in terms of areas around an apartment, around the building. And these can be saved to kind of database outputs, CRM outputs, or they can also be enable the user to generate more of their own linear media on the fly. So say if somebody has redecorated their apartment in a way that they've done, they can take a snapshot and then they can take that home. Or they can produce their own walkthrough of their own space. It's highly customized to the user. In terms of just pure data outputs, obviously that can be taken and reanalyzed as to how the business wants to use that, providing a bit more value to the end client. How this manifests itself for WSP, we've kind of created a platform that conglomerates all like kind of common tools that we need. So like 4D tools, auctioneering tools, schematic and constraints things. We are able to bring analysis data in, say, from engineering applications. Wind analysis is an example there. We can expose BIM data, if you really want to drive into the data, produce animation, 4D sequencing, a general exploration. But generally, we are trying to give clarity to be able to make better decisions, and de-risk kind of projects. Um, what this looks like for WSP in the early stages, we use it to scout locations using GIS and location intelligence. And further on, maybe in the early stages, maybe two and three, we use it for optioneering, highlighting massings, highlighting constraints, being able to um, communicate that quite clearly. When the model gets more developed, we can introduce the time and cost kind of elements to program things. Um, and maybe just before it's on site, we use it to look at site operations. So it might be crane lifts, how they can do that safety, to online kind of safety training platforms where people can go in and plan how they're going to move around the site in the safest possible manner. Um, from a sales perspective, just discussed, it can be used as an interactive environment for generating sales and tracking sales, and even maybe being able to use as a facilities management tool while it's in use as part of that kind of management of the building. So how we've used it on some large scale projects. So there's a few case studies. I've got three here. Um, Two are confidential, so they spoke in general terms, but our biggest one is a UK government science capability project where they've used this model-based kind of approach where there are various outputs. So the outputs are linear media, an interactive desktop application, also a virtual reality application, and we're using it for the 4D planning of the wider site. So for context, it's quite a large science capability campus and there are many projects going on within that and being able to look at it from a site-wide point of view and then an individual project point of view has been very helpful, especially for around the 4D planning. And an airport currently uses the system for more of a kind of cataloging of all the projects again around the site and being able to attach media, basic top level project data is being tracked, who the contractors are, what the value, what the milestones are around that, site photos in media galleries, but also having a 4D plan for each and every little project that they can go into and see um, on a day-to-day basis where it should be, and obviously they know where it is at currently as a comparison. One of the more interesting uses is on a large hospital redevelopment project in Scotland called Monkland's Redevelopment Project. It's been used alongside our digital services fire stopping capability that they're pioneering around in the information management side of the team. Um, a lot of the data work is done outside of the game engine, and we are bringing it in and representing it over tens of thousands of objects. Basically, it looks at builders' work openings in walls, in slabs, and see which one adheres to legislation around fire safety in buildings. They kind of categorize into high priority, medium, and low priority severity in terms of what needs reworking first, and it's been output as hundreds of images and videos in quite short turnarounds, and also as an interactive application where you can look at the object level and see the issues with each individual project. It's been said that having a global view of hotspot areas that need rework is actually quite useful. There's a quick snapshot because I'm not to show that one. Um, but generally, we find quite a lot of value in using a model-based visualization approach as we can obviously produce like almost one single source of truth and then put it out to many different uses. So it's the same data set and it has many different lives, but you can also create new lives and new data from using applications themselves. But in the end, it is just kind of trying to make your data work harder for yourself and helping de-risk those decisions for the end client in order to save time and money and deliver on time.
I just want to summarize. First of all, say thank you to our three keynote presenters. We first heard from Ben O'Connor, who is a visualization lead for properties and buildings at WSP. Ben introduced a model-based visualization platform that uses game engines, such as Real Engine, I think, which is the engine behind Fortnite, if I'm right, as a flexible front end to deliver clearer insights and more engaging project experiences. Its main value lies in consolidating complex data for better decision making, placing projects in full spatial and contextual environments, and highlighting both opportunities and constraints early on. Overall, the top three takeaways were that MBV, or model-based visualization, enhances clarity and decision making. It creates immersive and flexible client experiences, and it delivers repeatable, high-quality outputs efficiently.